Have you ever heard the little phrase, it's the little things that make the difference? What little things have you been potentially overlooking? I'll fill you in on what that is, and are restaurants opting out of bulk cutlery that they've been used to using for decades? I'll tell you that too. And the journey of a single-use plastic cutlery. An amazing story I came across. I'm going to share that with you as well. Hi everyone, good to have you here. This is Food Packaging TV, a weekly food packaging news show with a loyal fan base that gives you news in a fun way. Just in case you forgot. Just telling you. It's easy to be nice to people. Actually, it's almost selfish because you want them to like you. I'm guilty of that. I sometimes want to speak my mind when customers request the lightweight material. Hey, give me the cheap cutlery, as an example. But who am I to tell them how to run their business? But lucky for me, I can speak freely now. As on FPTV, I speak from the context of food packaging and the impact or experience certain products may provide your customers. So today, I'm going to do a selfless deed because I got to prevent the bozo effect. You know, people buying products just because it's cheap and not thinking how their buying decisions impact customers' dining experience. So, everyone knows the devil's in the details, or rather, God is in the details. There's a saying in Sanskrit from our Hindu scriptures which pretty much became the code of conduct for Hindu society with respect to the procedure of the host-guest relationship. And that is this: Atithi Devo Bhava. In simple words, it means when a guest would enter your home or your work, you as the host would go out of your way to make sure your guest is welcome, comforted, and treated with the utmost of respect, goodwill, and sincerity that you would extend as if God had shown up at your door. In my opinion, it's with this belief is how restaurant owners, quite frankly, all business owners, ought to imbibe this Atithi Devo Bhava concept in their value system and make it a point to treat all their customers as the most important visitor on your premises. Mahatma Gandhi said it best, which is also on the NK Our Story page, which reads, "A customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He is not dependent on us, we are dependent on him. He's not the interruption on our work, he's the purpose of it. He's not an outsider to our business, he is part of it. We're not doing him a favor by serving him, he is doing us a favor by giving us the opportunity to do it." So, should you not consider how every aspect of your business will translate to your customer for an overall excellent experience? If you were to ask Steve Jobs this, he would tell you that I would even worry about the beauty of a particular screw in the development of the iPhone. He'd wonder, how do we make it beautiful? And how do we get the tiniest of things right? So let's continue with the cutlery example. If you're a quick serve restaurant owner and you serve single-use cutlery, do you buy the extremely lightweight cutlery that's forever on sale, or do you opt for a slightly higher quality and pay a little premium? Or do you splurge a little more, provide your customers with a heavy-duty, robust cutlery set? The real question you should be asking yourself is, what kind of experience do you want your customer to have? If you want your customer to be upset because the fork is bending while trying to pick up a thin piece of spinach, then go right ahead and buy whatever's cheapest. But if you rather that customer be smiling, unperturbed by any distraction, enjoying a well-prepared meal with the best tools offered to create an overall great dining experience, then pay attention to the God in every detail. I suppose it would also depend on the vision of your company and where you see it going, but a mark of a good leader is to see both the big picture and realize that God is in all the details. One thing I can tell you is that your customer will appreciate a higher quality cutlery or chopsticks or packaging in general because it's an extension of who you are, of your restaurant's values, and the level of quality that you wish to extend. The last thing you want is a bad review on Google because the fork bent or the knife wouldn't cut as you're trying to eat your meal. Just to save a single penny on your cutlery? That's right, oftentimes it's just a question of a cent, but that extra cent can make all the difference in the world to your customer during his or her dining experience. Heck, increase the gap up to 4 cents and you'll be the talk of the town. Speaking of talk of the town, word on the street is that the bulk cutlery will be a thing of the past. There's been a spike in demand for individually wrapped cutlery and cutlery kits. COVID-19 has been a turning point for various product lines, and the manner in which they are sold may change forever. We may see bulk cutlery become a thing of the past, where once it was the norm. But if you're opting for wrapped cutlery and cutlery kits, make sure the wrapper is blue in color, as clear wrappers can be torn, easily dropped into the food, and the next thing you know, someone's being sued for having plastic in their meals. Hey, it can happen, especially in the US of A. So what's up with cutlery, man? What kind of cutlery is out there and what is the best for you? Well, let's break it down on a price scale, starting with the least expensive material and moving up to the most expensive, polypropylene cutlery, or PP. They come in the following grades: your light, your medium, and your heavy. They're mainly available in white, black, and clear. They have a heat tolerance of up to 250 Fahrenheit, can be recycled as well. Now, PP cutlery, this is the guy that you don't want to use. The slightest resistance will result in bending. Please, please, please do not buy these for your customer's sake. Medium weights, they're okay. They're definitely a step up, but if you're getting into heavier foods like meats or lasagna, they may not be up for the task. Now, the heavyweight cutleries, now these guys are tanks. Makes you feel like you're holding a fork and a sword. Look at the serrated edge. This knife can really cut in to any meal. These guys will definitely make your customer's dining experience a breeze with minimal effort to get their next delish bite. Bite. Polystyrene cutleries. Now these are also available in the light, medium, and the heavyweights. And they're also available in white, black, clear. They have a heat tolerance of up to 180 Fahrenheit and can also be recycled. And these PS cutleries, they're more dense than PP. Therefore, they're a little bit more stronger and stiffer. They have the same characteristics as the light, medium, and heavyweights from the PP category. So just know what you're looking for. Plant starch material, or PSM. They come in a medium grade with an excellent heat tolerance of up to 200 Fahrenheit. They're made with a blend of renewable resources and conventional plastic. PSM cutlery are not compostable. This particular weight is similar to the PS medium weight. They have a decent weight to them, and the knife has a good serration on the edge. The fork is also quite rigid. It's an all-right option. CPLA, crystallized polylactic acid. These are available in light, medium, and heavy, in various colors, as you can see, from the blue, the greens, the yellows, the reds. I mean, it's like having a bag of Skittles. Taste this rainbow. They are 100% compostable in a commercial composting facility and can sustain heat tolerances up to 185 Fahrenheit depending on the manufacturer. Again, the weights of these cutleries will determine the performance. Since CPLA has somewhat of a lower heat tolerance, the best thing for you to do is to get some samples of the thickness and the color that you like and test them yourself with your food, density, and its heat tolerances to see which is going to be the best compostable cutlery suited for your menu. Bamboo. The sizes vary by manufacturer, but I've seen sizes from 4 inches all the way to 7 inches. They have a heat tolerance of up to 158 Fahrenheit, and they're also compostable in a commercial composting facility. The wood ones are very similar with bamboo with respect to their actual lengths, but the heat tolerance on a wood is better than bamboo, which can sustain up to 200 Fahrenheit. They too are compostable in a commercial composting facility, and I have seen both the wood and the bamboo cutleries being used at catering events. They add a nice touch, but be always sure that the wood cutlery that you use has a food safe certificate, as the last thing you want is your guest to have a splinter in their tongue on one of your cutleries. And finally, edible cutlery. Do you remember Bakey's Cutlery? They were featured in National Geographic on their breakthrough of their edible cutlery. I've attached the link below. I actually ordered samples of these cutleries, and you know what? They're pretty decent. They tasted great and held up well in super hot soups. However, they have a high percentage of breakage during travel, as half the cutleries we ordered were broken in half or more pieces by the time they arrived. So until they can come up with a better solution for transportation, we're going to stick with the 6 materials to offer your guests. So now that we have our weights and materials out of the way, we can now decide on the style of cutlery that is best suited for your needs. Check out the various options of cutlery you can send out. You have your standard fork, teaspoon, knife, and soup spoon. And getting a bit more fancy, you have your spork, the half spoon and fork sensation. For your desserts, you have soda spoons, dessert spoons, and taster spoons. And for your oriental dishes, you have Chinese soup spoons and chopsticks. For catering, you have serving spoons, serving forks, and tongs. And finally, for something super specialty, you've got things like the Ecotensil. What is the Ecotensil? Well, check out this link.
What we have here are 300 plastic tasting spoons. This is Ecotaster. What we have here are 300 paper tasting spoons. Add a little compost.
Some amazing options for you to choose from. And now it's story time. I want to share a story about another YouTuber called Half Asleep Chris. He takes you on a journey of a single-use plastic, and it goes something like this. Millions of years ago, living things died, be it sea creatures, plankton, plants, whatever. And then over the next 150 million years or so, they were crushed under enormous pressure and heat until, roughly speaking, they became oil. Fast forward to present day, and we extract this crude oil, send it down hundreds of miles of pipelines to a refinery where it's finally turned into petroleum, amongst other things, and shipped to a plastic processing plant. Here, it's turned into tiny plastic pellets called nurdles. Now, don't be fooled by their cutesy name. Nurdles are nasty little things responsible for mass devastation of marine ecosystems where they pollute oceans and end up in our food chain, often killing fish that mistakenly eat them. Anyway, these nurdles are the basic form a lot of plastic are made into. For shipping and easy melting, where the factory, in one case, these factories make disposable cutleries, they can be melted and molded into knives and forks and spoons, and the finished product is now packaged into more plastic, loaded into a container, into a large cargo ship, and then often taken thousands of miles to whichever country has ordered them. And once they're there, they're unloaded and shipped by road to a large distribution center before being typically shipped again to another smaller warehouse, and then once more shipped to a specific shop or food outlet where it's required. Let's suppose it's a coffee shop and the customer is given a disposable plastic teaspoon. Now, it all comes down to this spoon. Combination of millions of years of processes and the work of thousands of people around the world, and it's traveled thousands of miles just to be at this very coffee shop today at this very moment. Then it's used to stir a single cappuccino clockwise for precisely 2.5 seconds, and then simply thrown into the garbage forever. That's mad! We've got this ridiculously long and incredibly complicated model that produces a utensil intended for just a single use. One use, before it's thrown away forever and sent to the landfill, where it'll take a half a millennium to break down. Or worse, ends up in our rivers or oceans and washes up on our beaches. Be it cutlery, straws, lids, water bottles, shopping bags, food packaging, you name it. Single-use plastics is wasteful and harmful and unsustainable. So what can you do? Well, avoid single-use plastics wherever possible. Purchase a reusable drink bottle or bring your own reusable cutlery. Bring your own bag shopping with you. And if you're throwing a barbecue or an event and it seems impossible not to use disposable items, then try to find cutlery made in a compostable plastic, which is CPLA, or use the Ecotensil. So the next time you find yourself in a coffee shop and you're about to pick up a disposable spoon, just pause for a moment and remember how utterly ridiculous it really is. And that's it for Food Packaging TV. I'm Milesh P. Follow us on all social media, please. And feel free to hit up your boy, you know what I mean. There's all my social media right there for you. Give a follow if you like. You know, I'm on all formats like Facebook, TikTok, WhatsApp, Facebook. Well, guess what? Stop. Fudge. Let's stop.